All right, team, we're going to kick off. So for those that don't know who I am, my name is John. I am one of the trainers at Reapit. I do have my colleague Alexander on the call as well. He's going to be answering your questions as we go through the webinar. A little bit about me. I'm actually a licensed real estate agent, still an active auctioneer. I run all my training from the point of view of a real estate agent. So with today's session, it's the sales process. Everything we run through, we're going to do it from the point of view of a real estate agent. So jump in next. As you can see on screen, these are our learning outcomes. This is what we're going to cover throughout this session. So we're going to look at how to successfully move a property from available to unconditional in our pipeline. Sorry. How to ride the momentum of success from a sale. So we've just done really well. We've got a property across the line. We want to ride the momentum of success to potentially sell other properties that we currently have still sitting in available, but to also get other business from our clients as well. And then we want to understand how we update our contacts in our database throughout the whole sales and settlement process, because that's very important. We've settled, we've sold the property. What do we do next to update those contacts moving forward? So I'm just going to jump into my system, my training system, and we'll kick off from there. So on screen right now, you can see my training system. You can see my agent box. It's pretty much similar to your own systems. So as you can see on screen, I've got my pipeline in front of me, open appraisals, presentations, listed, pending, available, conditional, unconditional. For those that are new to agent box, don't understand what that all is. Open appraisals are the properties we've appraised that we expect to come on the market between that 3 to 6 month period. Presentations are properties we've appraised as well as presented. We've actually done a full listing presentation, spoken to them about what our costs are, our marketing, all that type of stuff. Sorry. Listed, well, we've got the business. We've secured the business. They've signed the agreement. They've given us the business. We're good to go from there. The properties stay in listed until we obviously get all the relevant documentation, paperwork, photos, everything we need before we make it go live on the market. Today, we're going to work from the available tab. So we're going to look at a property that's currently on the market. We've received offers. What do we do moving forward? So this is our sales process. What we do moving forward from available through to conditional and of course to unconditional, and then we will settle the price at the property. While we do that, we're going to look at the benefits of how we can work our data through that process, as well as making the contacts, the relevant contacts attached to that particular property, how we update their contact details as well. So if I'm clicking on my available, I'm going to go to one of my live properties. I'm going to go to my available properties, select 58 Smith Avenue in Bondi. So I'll select this property. This property is currently live on the market, but we're going to go over to our offers and contracts tab. So selecting offers and contracts. I can see here, I've already put an offer against this property today. If you want to add another offer, it's very simple. Just go add offer, and we can just tag the offer from here. So we put the offer price, we select the buyer, add the buyer, and then of course we add our buyer solicitor as well. So coming back up here, working this particular offer, because I've already selected this offer, you can see that the details have already pulled across for the property. So all the details for pricing, offer hasn't been accepted. So it's just a set offer against this. We can add offers here. We can add offers from the app as well. So you can add offers when you're doing your follow-up in the app. And of course, you can add offers in our buyer follow-up. So if I select our full view, comes across to our inspections attendees. I'm going to select inspections attendees, and I'm then going to go all viewers. Select my all viewers. To add an offer against a contact, you just go to the right-hand side where it says quick action. So I'm just going to use Barry, for example, here. Select quick action, scroll down all the way to where it says submit an offer, select submit an offer. Because I've already got a figure assigned next to Barry in his feedback, it's automatically pulled across here. I can put comments against that offer if I want to, but I'm just going to leave it as is. I'm going to go save. And I've now attached another offer from this section against this particular client. I'm going to close the tab here. I'm going to come back to offers and contracts in the contact card, sorry, in the property card, the property that's actually available. And I can see we've got another second offer over here. So our vendors have obviously accepted the first offer. So the first offer, there's a fair amount, there's 800,000 between them. So obviously they've gone with our first offer. We then go to Barry, we select Barry's offer, and we can put that as offer rejected. So his offer is not going to proceed. The offer has now been rejected. Over here, guys, as you can see with offer submitted, this offer has been accepted by our owners. So we're going to select on offer submitted. But before I proceed from here with my purchaser, James, I want to add his buyer solicitor just in case. So I'm just going to put law, add a random lawyer. Just go with James Barrett for this one. And then it's selected in there as a solicitor. Offer has been accepted, so I'm going to select offer accepted. If the client decides to withdraw their offer, so we've already experienced what we do when we reject an offer. If the client decides they want to withdraw their offer, we can just go offer withdrawn. But at this case, it's offer accepted. You don't necessarily have to withdraw an offer. You can delete it if you wish to do so. But sometimes if you've actually submitted it to the owner, you still want it on record. So you would then select offer withdrawn. We're going to go offer accepted. Offer accepted. The date the offer was made was today's date, and the offer price is 15,300,000. We're going to go yes, and now we can see the offer is accepted. When we get to this stage, we can see that we can actually make the property under contract, unconditional as well, or of course, we still have the options to reject and withdraw the offer. So just going to make sure my lawyer saves this time. We're going to go James, add, make sure I'll save it. So our owners have accepted the offer. The client has come through. So James has actually come through and signed the contract. So he's now under contract. So when we select under contract, it brings up this tab where we update the contract date. So it's going to be today's date. Cooling off period is the standard 5 business days. Expected settlement, so it's calculated the expected settlement from today's date, which is the 26th of the 8th. Of course, if any of these dates need to get updated for whatever reason, we can do that. So we can see that the contract offer is 15,300,000. Deposit, the client is going to pay 10% deposit, and our inclusion and our commission has put across, so it's 3.3% of that 10% of that full figure, by the way. Auction results. So this property was actually allocated to go to auction, but we've accepted a cooling off period beforehand. So sold prior to auction at this stage is how we're going to put the result, but we're still technically under contract for now. So I'm just going to go yes. Now the property is officially in a cooling off period. So it's in here, it's pulled through, it's in a cooling off period for now. So now that it's in a cooling off period, I have the option to create my sales advice and send it directly from Agent Box. So if you can see over here, the letters down here, if I select letters, I can see that I've got templates already ready to go. And automatically, because I'm doing this from the Office tab, I can see that I've got purchaser sales advice and vendor sales advice pulling from here. So if I select vendor sales advice, you can see that all the options down here pull across. So they're the tabs. This is how it comes through. Save and proceed with all the information pulling through. So obviously your office details will be up here. Property address, all the relevant details for the conditions. So the contract date, when it's expected to go unconditional, when it's expected to settle. Again, we can actually update all these if needed. Over here, it says marketing expense owed. There's no marketing expense owed. So I'm just going to click on that. I'm going to come to this icon and remove that line. Scrolling down, I've got our agency. We don't actually have a fax number. Again, going to remove that line. I've got my vendor's details. I've got my vendor solicitors. Just going to remove a couple of things that we don't have. I've got my purchaser's details. And of course, I've got my purchaser solicitor. Again, remove the fax by using that icon. Once I'm happy, I can save and proceed. And I have the option to print it as a PDF, send it as a HTML, or of course, send that as an attachment via email. A lot of agents, they prefer just to print it as a PDF and send it separately with the signed front pages of the contract. Happy for you guys to do that, whatever you're comfortable with as well. Once we've done that, so we're in the cooling off period. Cooling off period is now finished. The clients are happy. They've done their building and pest report. That passed. They've done their bank valuation. That came through perfect. They're good to go. They're going to come in. They're going to pay their deposit, and they're going to be officially unconditional. So what we do is we come here and we select unconditional. So I'm going to make unconditional date is now today's date. Settlement stays the same. Contracts price still the same. Deposit, all that type of stuff. Display price, I actually want the display price to be what I sold it for. And I'm happy to display the display price over here. So sold prior to auction, this is the display price. I select yes, and all that information has been updated. Sorry. If this was an auction property, so if this property was to sell under a 66W or actually sell at auction, so there's no cooling off period, you of course have the option to make it unconditional straight away. You don't need to push it through the pipeline to go to conditional. You can push it automatically until it goes unconditional. So now that we've done that, I'm going to close this, close that. So you're going to notice it's going to move, jump across. It would have been in our conditional. Now it's gone all the way to unconditional. As I refresh, I can see it's now sitting in unconditional. Two things I want to do when a property is officially sold. The first thing I want to do is, and this part is very important, I want to click on the unconditional property. So we're going to go to 58 Smith Avenue. I'm going to select the property. I'm then going to go to agents and contacts. In agents and contacts, we scroll down to our buyer. Select our buyer, and we go to our buyer's contact card. In the buyer's contact card, we're going to go to requirements. And if I know that this buyer has just bought a property and they're not in a position to buy another property, the first thing I want to be doing is delete all requirements. A lot of agents don't do this, but this part is very important. And the reason being is, let's pretend this client bought a property from me at auction over the weekend. Come Monday morning, I then send them an email saying, great news, we've just listed a property that fits your buying criteria. Makes us look a little bit stupid. So we go in there and delete that. The main reason why I do that is because I want to avoid this client unsubscribing. So we don't want to be sending them stuff that's no longer relevant to them. They bought, they're no longer looking to buy. We remove their buyer requirements. That's the first thing I want to do as soon as the property is officially sold. The second thing I want to do is I want to pretty much ride the momentum of success. So you want to piggyback off the success of this sale. So coming back to the property, 58 Smith Avenue, Bondi, I'm going to select full view. So full view obviously brings up our side panel. I'm going to go inspections, attendees, and I'm going to go all viewers. So a lot of you come here to do your open home follow-up and to create your vendor reports, which is perfect. This is the great way to do it, and this is the best place to do it. I'm going to go all activity. So during this campaign, I had 14 groups either inquire or view the property. Only one of them bought it. So I've got 13 clients that recently started looking, recently inquired on a property and are active. A lot of people have very dirty databases. So you've got buyers in your system that have been looking for a long time. Buyer requirements have never been removed from them. It's hard to bulk communicate to those clients because a lot of them are probably have actually bought already and are no longer looking. So what we want to do is we want to target people that are freshly looking, recently inquired, recently viewed the property, and try to remove other stock that we have as well. Because potentially we might have other stock that's sitting there that's similar to this property, but they actually haven't seen yet. So to do so, I'm going to come to my e-newsletter. I'll select e-newsletter in the top right. I select general e-newsletter, save and proceed, delivery details. So we select all the clients that fit. So I'm going to tick all, but of course, James bought it. So we're going to remove James from the list. I'm sending it from myself. I'm just going to say subject. You can put whatever you want, but I'm just for the sake of the training, I'm going to write gibberish. I'm going to save and proceed. So automatically the property pulls through as a feature property. So the property they originally inquired on is now officially sold. So we're going to send it to them, updating them that the property you originally inquired on has sold. Where it says feature property, I can actually change the wording. So I'm just going to say just sold. I'm also going to hide the property description because I don't want all that writing pulling through. So now I just pull through here. If they want to view more, they can. Up here in the welcome box, I'm going to select that box. First thing I want to do is show my full signature because I want my photo as well as my whole signature part of the email. And over here, I'm going to write, thank you for your interest in the below property. This property has now sold. We've got other properties similar currently on the market that may interest you. Please let me know if any of these properties or interest you in, or if you would like to view any of these properties, contact me directly. Word it however you want to word it, but it's pretty much the same thing. What we want to be doing is piggybacking off the success of this property, sending it to clients that have recently been looking, and we're going to send them properties that are suitable to them. But for whatever you want here, save and proceed. It goes through as a welcome, has the contact's first name. It has your photo, it will have your details pulled through from here. And of course, it's got the feature property. But what we want to use this for is we want to send properties as well that are currently on the market that may interest these clients. And these clients might not have necessarily seen these properties. These properties might have been on the market for a long time, well before these clients started looking. So I'm going to go to my drop down. I'm going to select my current listings and I'm going to go add. I've got 24 over here. I'm going to untick all, but I'm going to select a few that I think are suitable. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and let's roll with this one. Save. So send them an email, let them know that the property that they originally inquired on or viewed has sold, but we're trying to piggyback off the back of success of these properties. And right now we can send for testing, so sends it to us. We can preview, see what it looks like, or we can send and schedule. So send, we'll send it directly to all that list right now, or we can schedule to go out at a later date, later time. So I'm going to schedule it to go out this evening at 6 p.m. So this is now scheduled to go out at 6 p.m. So we've done the hard yards, we've sold the property, we've worked really well, but we're also trying to capitalize on the hard work that we've done with all the clients that we've met during the campaign, updating them and letting them know, okay, well, we've just sold the property that you originally inquired or viewed, but great news, we've got other stock that might interest you. So you're pretty much killing two birds with one stone. Okay, I'm gonna close that, I'm gonna close that. So right now, we're still in the cooling off period. We're going to pretend settlement is today. We want to go in and update everything. Ideally, you update your commission section. You try to update your commissions during the settlement period. A lot of people update it as soon as the property is exchanged. So what we're going to do is we're just going to select commission. We're going to save the commission 100% to our office. And I'm just going to go here and allocate the commission to myself. So just going to remove franchise fees for now. I'm going to select myself as the agent and my colleague Dwayne. We're both 50-50. So this part needs to equal 100%. We've got our gross commission, which is 50-50. And as you can see, automatically, my agent office split is 85-15. Dwayne, we need to update his one, which is 65. And then it updates the commission accordingly. So we're able to see what we're entitled to. We're able to see what the office does. So we're going to save that commission. Now that we've saved that commission, I'll just click on commissions or allocated, set up to the relevant agents. Commission has been saved. We now have the power to come over here. We can go to our offers and contracts tab. We can settle the property now. So we're going to select settled. It is going to hold up because settlement date would need to be today's date. Might not go through, but we'll give it a shot. Yep, so these dates can't be the same date, which is fair. So you obviously push settlement date. It's very rarely a property will sell and settle on the same date, but for the sake of training, you would have a future date and then we're able to settle the property. Once we've settled the property, everything's on record, everything pulls through that we've actually settled the property moving forward. So we've worked the property through the pipeline, we've settled it, we've updated all the details. Okay, now that we've settled the property, the important part is what do we do with the contacts that are attached to the property? So what do we do with our vendors? And what do we do with our purchasers? This is one part where a lot of officers avoid this part or they just don't do it. It's just not a common practice to update contact details post-settlement. So one thing that I showed you to do is go agents and contacts, select the buyer, and delete the buyer requirements. That's something I do off on exchange straight away. That's the main thing that we want to be doing. But coming to the contact card, there's a few things that we still need to do. If James bought this property to live in, well, we need to update his address. So his address of residence is going to change because he bought this property to live in. Contact classes, again, we use contact classes in Agent Box to bulk communicate to our clients. So the contact classes need to be up to date, they need to be clean, they need to be relevant. That's the big one. They need to be relevant to the contact. So if James is no longer a prospective buyer, we remove prospective buyer. But he is an owner occupier because he bought this property and he's going to live in it. So I tag owner occupier as his contact card. A lot of people like to have prospective vendor as well. You can do that. The reason I put owner occupier in there is because I just want it as an owner occupier. In the future, if we do appraise the property for him, so in a few years' time, if he decides he wants to sell, he will get the prospective vendor contact card as well. So just going to leave that, save, and just roll with the owner occupier contact class. And I'm going to remove the others that are irrelevant to him. Assigned staff, don't need to touch that. Contact comments. Contact comments is where we put things in there to remember the client. So if you want to put anything in there to remember the client, questions or anything like that, or sorry, dog's name, he has a dog named Spot, he has 3 daughters, this is his daughter's names, likes rugby league, whatever, anything you want to put in there to remember the client, you're more than welcome to do so. This is something that a lot of people ask me, do we remove subscriptions? The answer is always no. Do not remove subscriptions from a contact even when they're purchased and settled. The reason being is if they come in to buy again in the future, their property updates are automatically set and their new requirements will be attached to them. So it's important to remove and delete their buyer requirements, but we do not remove their subscriptions. And the same thing with e-newsletters. I don't want to remove their e-newsletter subscription because in the future, if they decide, okay, well, in the future, if we want to update to them or market to them and just update them on general e-newsletter stuff, we want them subscribe, but also vendors might want to receive stuff. So we can't bulk communicate via e-newsletters if that is not ticked. As we spoke about before, requirements need to be deleted. So that's very important because I find that a lot of people unsubscribe because they buy, especially when they buy from the same agent, but they're still getting bombarded with emails, great news, we just listed a property, but it's not relevant to them. So at least with the e-newsletters, it might be relevant to them. The information that we send is relevant, but with the requirements, it's no longer relevant because they're not looking. But because we've kept the property updates ticked, if they decide to view a property in the future or inquire on a property, requirements will start off fresh as per whatever property they viewed or inquired at that time. Okay, and the last thing I want to do on the buyer side of things is go to the tick icon. I'm going to go apply activity schedule. So I want to tag a series of tasks to follow up this client moving forward. So I'm going to go to my drop down. I'm going to go general. I'm going to select purchaser 5 years. So this is our anniversary that we've scheduled for 5 years tagged against this particular client. I'm going to go save and proceed. I'm going to select the admin. I'll do both roles to be honest with you. I'm going to select the admin side of things and the sales side of things to come to me. And then we finish. So quick recap. We've gone into their contact card. We want to update their address as per the property they've bought. If they bought it as an investment, we don't touch the address, we just leave it. But they bought it to live in, so we're tagging the contact class as own occupier. Assigned staff don't change. Contact comments, we put in there comments to remember the client. Subscriptions, we're putting in subscriptions over here, so we don't touch the subscriptions if they're already there. We're removing the requirements, and of course, we're going to the tick icon, which is our task. We're applying activity schedules to follow up the client. If you click full view, side panel, activity schedule drop down, and then you're able to see all the tasks that are scheduled and how they pan out for the next 5 years. The reason why we put activity schedules against clients is because they might buy a property from us now, their situation might change, they might have kids, they might need to upgrade, they might need to downsize, whatever it is, we still want to be in contact with them at least once a year, building that relationship, reminding them they bought from us, reminding them who we are, and we want them to be part of our sphere of influence. They've worked well with us, they've built that relationship, we want them to then let other people know how good we are. And of course, if you've got a really good relationship with someone, you find, especially people that have been in real estate for a long time, you find it's a lot easier to secure their business because they know you and they trust you. So that's what we do with the purchaser. With our vendors, very similar. But with the vendor, we're selecting the vendor, we're going to the contact card, and we're removing the vendor from the address field. So removing the address from the vendor. I've had a lot of clients tell me that we keep the vendor address in because we don't know where the vendor's going. I don't care if you don't know where the vendor's going, that's fine. But you still want to remove the address from here because there's nothing worse than you decide to do a bulk mail out and you send a letter addressed to the old vendor to the new vendor. Makes us look really funny if we do that. So very important, remove the address. Sorry. It doesn't matter if we don't know where they're going. Contact classes, again, you can leave them as a past owner. If you find out where they're going, you know they own that property, you can tag them as an own occupier. In this situation, when it comes to vendors, it can be a bit tricky, the contact classes. You just need to, they're always different depending on their situation. So we just want to go in and update it as relevant. Assigned staff stays the same, subscriptions stay the same. I also don't like leaving requirements on the vendor if they're no longer looking. I know a lot of agents tag buyer requirements against their owners just to keep them up to date with the market. But if they've just sold, we want to remove it because, again, if they're not looking to buy it, we don't want to bombard them with emails where they do decide they want to unsubscribe. And when it comes to the task icon, a lot of agents don't like putting tasks against vendors. It's no point following them up for the next 5 years. I understand. I've had agents tell me, why am I going to call them and tell them, oh, you could have made more money if you kept the property? That's a fair assessment. I still like to create a single task at least, just to touch base in a month's time. And then I would continue putting single tasks from there just to see how you're going, where'd you move to, especially if you haven't got their address, how you going, where'd you move to? Keep in mind, if we do a really good job for these guys, they become our sphere of influence. If they go on to a barbecue on the weekend, they're speaking to people, oh, well, we're looking to sell our property, use this guy. He helped us. He really helped us succeed in our property. So I highly suggest reach out to him and use him as well. All right, guys, we're going to do a quick recap. So we've jumped in, we've gone to available. While we were in available, we've gone into one of our properties. I'll select a different property this time. We've gone to offers and contracts. We've selected and added an offer against the property. That offer was accepted by our vendors. We then made that property under contract. While it was under contract, we organized a letter and sent out a sales advice to our clients, to all the relevant parties, our vendors, vendor solicitors, buyers solicitor, all those people. After that, the buyer done their building a pest, they did their bank vow, they paid the deposit, the property is officially sold. Now that the property is officially sold, what we went in and did was we updated the buyer's requirements, removed the requirements. We also bulk communicated to everyone that viewed and inquired on the property during the campaign. So we did that when it was officially sold. Now that the property is up for settlement, we then move through we update the commission tab. We assign the relevant commission to the relevant agents. We then settle the property. Once we settled the property, we went in, updated both contact cards, the vendor's and the buyer's contact card. And then we've now built a relationship with them. We still will stay in contact with them. We've made sure that they're not going to receive any data that's going to have them unsubscribe, and we will stay on top of them moving from there. So I'm going to go to our slides again. Bear with me for 2 seconds. So as you can see, the slides on screen now. So we're recapping. We looked at how to move a property through the pipeline from available to unconditional, how to ride the momentum of this success, so bulk communication to everybody that viewed or inquired on the property. That's a big one that I highly suggest doing, guys, because especially the way the market is right now, you want to capitalize on all opportunities and understand where you should be updating your contact and your database. So understanding how to update the contacts, making sure that, all right, we've exchanged, we want to update the buyer requirements, we've settled, we want to update all the requirements for both the contact details as for the vendor and our purchaser.